former Pentagon officials reveal how UFOs work and why the government reveals information. In episode 2194 of his podcast, Joe Rogan addresses his guest with these words: "You seem to have a lot of footage of military." Luis Elizondo responds without thinking twice. Actually, this guest is not some random conspirator. Luis Elizondo is a former United States counterintelligence officer. He was a direct subordinate of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. According to Elizondo, he was the director of the now-defunct Aerospace Advanced Threat Identification Program, AATIP, which is linked to the leaked Pentagon videos of UFOs. To date, Elizondo is a former intelligence official due to the fact that since 2017, he has alleged a government conspiracy to suppress evidence that UFOs are of extraterrestrial origin. Accordingly, Elizondo's statements regarding his role in the Department of Defense have been disputed by Pentagon officials. With advances in technology and the World Wide Web, concealing unidentified flying objects is becoming increasingly difficult. In fact, the US government no longer denies that anything is happening, but it calls what is happening appearances. To be honest, to date, we don't have irrefutable evidence of extraterrestrial life. Or maybe we do, but someone doesn't want to admit it. In 1947, a strange event occurred that became one of the most controversial UFO cases in the world. On a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico, a man named William Brazel discovered debris consisting of aluminum, rubber bands, and tubing, along with other items. When the local sheriff took them to the Roswell airfield for inspection, the news that came next shook the world. The debris was from a UFO. But almost immediately, the US Army retracted its claim. They claimed that a mistake had been made, and instead of a flying saucer, the debris was from a crashed weather balloon. This somewhat cools the passions of those who are just waiting for the interesting development of the case, while others suspect that this story is another government cover-up. Decades later, many still insist that what crashed near Roswell that day was not man-made. Even Brazel, the man who discovered it, is adamant that the debris was not from a weather balloon. In 1994, the US Air Force once again tried to quell passions over the Roswell case. They claimed that the balloon was actually part of a top-secret project named Mogul, designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Naturally, again, not everyone believes this story, and probably with good reason, considering that as the decades go by, more and more reports of top-secret UFO-related government projects have come to light. And no, we're not just talking about Project Blue Book, which was supposedly shut down decades ago. We're talking about something else, something much more recent that may still be going on today. Furthermore, this information comes not from civilians, but from former Pentagon and government officials who claim to have seen it all. How would you react if we told you that, despite what the government has steadfastly denied all these years, there have been at least 7 confirmed UFO-related projects carried out by the US government in the last few decades, not counting several other smaller investigations? You may have heard of the Blue Book project we mentioned a moment ago. It ran from 1952 to 1969, but there have been more programs over the last few decades, one of them from 2022. Unlike their predecessors, the new programs are not exactly classified, at least not officially. But even though they are set up in the light, in quotes, most of what they do is not disclosed to the public, at least until someone on the inside does. In 2017, Senator Harry Reid shocked the public when he admitted in a New York Times article that he had supported a $22 million project that dealt with UFO research. Founded in 2007, the Aerospace Advanced Weapons Systems Application Program, AAWSAP, was initiated by Senator to investigate reports of UFOs. According to the book Skinheads at the Pentagon by Colm Kelleher, James Lukatsky, and George Knapp, AAWSAP is an actual $22 million program funded by the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency. Related to AAWSAP is the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or AATIP. In the New York Times article, however, AATIP was the only program mentioned, which may have led to confusion between the two related but different programs. While AAWSAP is a funded program, it is focused on unidentified phenomena in general, including paranormal phenomena. Meanwhile, AATIP is more focused on military UFO encounters. In Joe Rogan's podcast, Luis Elizondo shares something very interesting. He says that changing the name from unidentified flying objects to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, is much more properly so, showing the Pentagon's clear awareness of what it's dealing with. Luis explains that a flying object is something that has wings and flies in the sky, while these objects can do much more than that. They are recorded both high in the sky and underwater. They can hover in the air without moving and perform strange maneuvers at incredible speeds, not to mention the fact that they don't even have wings. Composed of scientists, military, intelligence, defense contractors, engineers, medical professionals, politicians, lawyers, and UFO researchers, AATIP aims to unravel the technology behind aerial phenomena, demonstrating abilities that cannot be explained. They are being studied for two main reasons. First, to assess whether they pose a threat to national security, and second, to uncover the secrets of their advanced technology. You see a snippet of video taken by the FLIR infrared camera aboard an FA-18 fighter jet. What sets the FLIR-1 video apart from other UFO videos is that, in addition to being filmed by the Navy, it clearly shows the strange behavior of an unknown vehicle. It has no apparent propulsion, it is moving at tremendous speed, and its acceleration does not match any of the known capabilities of even the most advanced human technology. In addition, the unknown object performs maneuvers impossible by current standards with rapid acceleration and abrupt changes in direction. Finally, even the pilots aboard the fighter are unable to explain how the object descended from 60,000 feet above sea level, almost to contact with the water. These videos are perhaps some of the most compelling and indeed authentic UFO footage in history. Elizondo is pointed to as the one who released the video without getting final approval from the Department of Defense. When the videos came to light in December 2017, the prosecutor leading the case against the government's alleged secret programs denied the UFO recordings. Why? Well, to change their versions later. The prosecution downplays the existence of the program even when it has already been declassified by denying the UFO allegations. In 2020, however, under increasing public pressure, it has no choice but to confirm the existence of an AATIP-like program called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, or UATPF, before it is replaced by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, in 2022. Despite countless denials by the DA, eventually it all came out, and it was clear as day that they were indeed investigating UFOs. But what have they found? Here's the problem. The prosecutor's office, or any of its offices in the field, refused to answer this question directly. Even Elizondo, who was instrumental in these revelations, says he can't share everything he knows. The book he wrote was also reviewed by the Pentagon before its release. And guess what? The text was edited in several places. But if the Pentagon hadn't given him permission, Elizondo wouldn't have been able to publish the book at all. However, one of Elizondo's most enticing claims that he has been able to share publicly is that these could work to humanity's benefit. According to him, the government has exotic materials that allow these UFOs to work in a way that does not conform to our current scientific and technological understandings. Elizondo suggests that UFOs may be using a type of anti-gravity technology unknown to us that allows these vehicles to move and maneuver in impossible directions. Furthermore, as evidenced by the FLIR video and the testimony of one of the fighter pilots, the vehicle was capable of accelerating at inhuman speeds. Elizondo believes that UFOs use some sort of space-time distortion that allows them to move and maneuver at hypersonic speeds without sound. According to the researchers he worked with while in the service, these UFOs may be enveloped in a so-called bubble, a localized distortion of space-time that allows them to escape familiar physical constraints such as gravity. Inside this bubble, UFOs can move freely and maneuver without wings or propulsion systems. If you look closely at the FLIR videos, you'll notice something interesting. See that? There is a strange halo-shaped light around the object that looks really like a balloon. And what happened to AATIP? It was closed in 2012 due to lack of sufficient funds. But did they discover anything important? Well, while many of their findings remain classified, and they still can't definitively state, yes, life exists on other worlds, AATIP did make significant studies and discoveries about the nature of UFOs. Ultimately, they confirmed that not all UFO-related phenomena are pure hoaxes and worth taking seriously. As for Elizondo, the man who came out to the world and told everyone about the project, he resigned from the Pentagon back in 2017 due to, quote, extreme secrecy and internal opposition. Elizondo himself faces a lot of challenges. Of course, not everyone is going to believe his story, but even worse, the Pentagon has given very contradictory statements about him. While they confirmed that he worked for them, they denied his involvement in AATIP. But it also took them a long time to confirm the existence of AATIP itself. Senator Reid, on the other hand, stood by Elizondo and stated that he was no doubt an important part of AATIP, even having a leadership role in the program. Luis Elizondo is still actively advocating for UFO research and the declassification of information by the government, even as a private citizen. The list of government people who are openly starting to talk about UFOs is steadily growing. Individuals such as former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Investment, Christopher Mellon, former Senior Advisor to the President John Podesta, former U.S. Air Force Officer David Grouch, and former NASA Administrator and Senator Bill Nelson are also coming forward with various claims and evidence. The initiative is even growing in other countries such as Brazil, Canada, Russia, China, Chile, and France. But how far can the government go in its secrecy and research? Are they hiding something more? Could they have stumbled upon an alien city on the other side of the moon, as former NASA employee Ken Johnston claims? To find out, watch the video on the left on your screens.